Canes are down 0-2. Took them 2 overtimes, tally in the loss column. All season. I mean, this is the beauty of having a show. You can go back and find the audio. You can find the quotes. All season, I've been saying that we will be judging this team by their performance in the postseason. They could prove nothing to me in the regular season. It was just the precursor to the postseason. The only thing they can be judged on is the postseason. Well, someone has to answer for being down 0-2 in the second round. If the season was cup or bust, which it was, someone has to answer for them being down 0-2 in the second round. And listen, I love Rod Brind'amour. I think he should be paid. I think he should be the coach in Carolina for as long as he wants to be the coach in Carolina, but he has some explaining to do after last night's game. And it's the gift and the curse of losing a close game, and you can't get much closer than 2 overtimes. The gift and the curse of losing a close game is you could have found that margin, you could have found that victory in a million different places. And when the coach is the face and the head and all of those things, starts with you. Team discipline. That always starts with coaching, right? Penalties to end power plays, to give it right back. Penalties where it's something that, we're just dumb radio people, and yesterday we said they're going to try to bait you into being the second person to do something dumb, and then Jake Gensel falls for it. It's everyone knows the second guy gets caught. Everyone. You don't have to be on the inside. You need a coach to get you prepared to deal with that on the road. Special teams. 0 for 10 on the power play. 0 for 10. 0 for 5 in game 1, 0 for 5 in game 2. Both games you lose by the whiskers on your chinny chin chin. Fix it one time. You go 1 for 10 on the power play, which, by the way, is not good, especially for a team as good on the power play as you've been all year. You go 1 for 10, you're probably coming back to Raleigh with momentum in a 1-1 series. I don't even care which power play you scored on. If I had my druthers, it'd be one of the 2 you had in overtime, but a goal anywhere in a power play probably ends with a 1-1 series coming back to Raleigh. Momentum, completely different beast. The goalie conversation. Again, we've been talking about it all postseason. When are you going to get Piotr a chance? When are you going to get Piotr a chance? When are you going to throw Kochetkov in there? 7 straight games of Freddie. I don't think he's physically exhausted, but if you go look at the way Freddie played since he returned from the blood clotting issue, part of it was the guy was mentally on fire. He was mentally sharp. He didn't miss things. He located the puck. It didn't get lost at his feet. Could that be because mentally he was able to unplug every other game during the regular season and he was extra mentally fresh going into the postseason? And as this is dragged along, as the playoffs have turned into 5, 6, 7 games and he hasn't gotten that unplug, now he is giving up a little bit of a softy goal in game 1, the 4th one. He is giving up a goal where he makes the initial stop and it's kicking around his feet and he doesn't know where it is. Again, I love Rod. You have some explaining to do. Why was Evgeny Kuznetsov not in the lineup? Why at 4:45 yesterday when you talked to the media was, hey, we're expecting the exact same deal. And then when warm-ups came out not long after that, Kuznetsov was not warming up. Instead, it was Comtois. And then once you make the decision to play Comtois in a double overtime game where everyone is exhausted and every minute of ice time matters because it can keep one of your studs fresh, why does he play 6 minutes? And why are you so terrified of playing that 4th line that somebody like Stefan Nason, who's been good, plays essentially 7 minutes? Any one of these, 1% better, that might be the margin between winning and losing. Any one of those, the team handles 1% better. Discipline, special teams, goalie, ice time and rotations. There were people, and by the way, I'm not blaming them for this. That second overtime, there were people on the ice that looked like they had played about a half hour of ice time. Because they did. Because it was a game where you just have to continuously find extra reserves. But who knows if 4 more minutes from somebody else, whether it's Nason, whether it's Comtois, whether it could have been Kuznetsov, whether it would have been whoever, wouldn't have given them an extra little burst. There were a few times in the overtime where I thought maybe there was an opportunity to go on a hero run, right? Somebody could have gone and taken on a tired Rangers defense and scored. Instead, they chipped it down there, shifted lines. A little bit of a tired move. So many things. It's the frustration of a game that close. So many things. If they go a hair differently, you win the game. You could say that's a positive. I don't look at it that way. I look at it as a missed opportunity, right? Because the other side is, well, they haven't scored a power play goal. They aren't playing that great. Their goalie did lose one at his feet, and they still took it to 2 overtimes. I'm looking at it and going, that's a missed opportunity. You're so impressive you can play bad and still be close isn't a consolation prize for me. You do that 4 times, you end up like you did in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. So good that you can be close. Swept. I don't want to be doing this offseason what Canes fans had to do last offseason, which is explain to everybody that it wasn't actually that bad if you really look at it. That's not where you want to be 2 years in a row. The Eastern Conference Finals last year, they weren't actually that bad if you look at it. 2 overtime games, 2 one-score games. It was actually a closer series than that. It actually wasn't a sweep. Well, do you want to be doing the same thing this year? Oh, well, if you go look at it, right, Game 2 was a 2 overtime game. That was pretty close. Oh, if you really want to go look at it, Game 1, they made a comeback and they came pretty close. No, I don't want to be doing that. I don't want to be the context guy. Right? Well, actually, there's some context to the way they went out. Went out is went out. When there's that many things that you can change and win a game, change them. You're coming home for 2 games, right? Games 3, games 4. You're going to be in Raleigh. You're going to have your crowd. You're going to have a little bit more influence over matchups and line matchups and things like that. Take advantage of them and win the games. No, well, actually. The well, actually person on Twitter is always fun, right? You say something, well, actually.
Well, actually.
You know, what you failed to realize was so-and-so was only on the ice for 27 and a half minutes. No. I don't want to be well actually'd. I want the Rangers to have to well actually. I want the Rangers to say, well, actually, you know, the Svetch penalties, which are absolutely awful, and give back power plays immediately. Well, actually, Adam Fox he's flopping. So, well, actually, it ended the power play regardless. There's a lot of well actuallys. I don't want them. Somebody has to answer for going down 0-2. The Canes were the betting favorite to win the Stanley Cup at the beginning of the postseason. They are a contender. They are Stanley Cup or bust, and I don't think I need to explain that going out in the second round would be a bust. 0-2 is not a death sentence. We'll talk about it, but the cards are stacked against you now, and you have to crawl and scratch and do everything you possibly can to find the 1% difference that turns a loss into a win. The kid gloves are off. The training wheels are off. There's no more, well, at least you tried. This is the year. You have a bunch of expiring contracts coming up this offseason. You have a bunch of guys that are about to get paid that you have them on a essentially rent control for the first time or for the last time this year. That overlap. This is a year to go for it, but now the cards are stacked against you in a year that you should be going for it. You have 2 choices. Win anyway, and then bring this rant back up and rub it in my face. I hope so. Or have a whole offseason of, well, actually, they were closer to the Rangers than the final. No.